Hey guys, welcome to the Titanium Vault. I'm your host, RJ Bass III, and today I'm sitting down with Kai Logue. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, brother. Thanks for having me on, man. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So Kai and I first met at an event, Travis Wells event here in Plano, Texas, and we were both asked to close deals live on stage. So Kai, I got to ask you, man, just to get into it. What were your thoughts, when you got asked to close deals on stage, and what was that experience like for you?
Man, I was excited for the opportunity. I'm always trying to do new challenges and try new things. That was the first for me. I've never closed on stage. I know you're a veteran doing it, but yeah, for me it was new. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't really. I'm good friends with Travis. I didn't get a lot of information before how it was going to go down. Before that, he's like, you're going to come up and you're going to go. Naaman's going to go. RJ's going to go. You're all going to go separately. So I went up there like a nerd with my script and my laptop for no reason, and then he's like, "Oh, you're all going at the same time." So I'm like, "Okay." Uh, so yeah, I really just figure it out on the fly and just do it, man. But it was a lot of fun.
Was a lot of fun, and you talk about I'm a veteran at it. I don't know when that became a thing. It's like go do the Closures Olympics, and then I won the 2021 Closures Olympics. And then it's like every time I'm asked to do something, they're like, "Hey, will you close the deal on stage?" And it's like, man, it's not that easy. You can't just like snap your fingers. But we did all walk away with deals from that event. Yours was a little bit more difficult than mine and Naaman's. Mine was like an almost fully remodeled thing. I just needed to get a slight little discount on it. Naaman kind of went after a rental there. He got a slight discount on it, but he kind of just closed it as a rental. Yours, you actually had to get a pretty significant price drop, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So my mindset, I was getting nervous. We're up there because nobody was answering. So we each had a list. They just gave us a list to call off of, and I called that motherfucker 3 times. Not exaggerating. Literally 3 times. I double dialed it. I kept calling the third go around, like the last name on the list finally answered. It was at like the end. We were on there for it was like 45 minutes. We were supposed to be up there for an hour, and that literally very last second guy answers. And I'm like, fuck, man, I'm just gonna, this is my shot. I gotta take it.
Right.
And he wanted well over full retail. It was like, give me a hard time. Typical seller. Usually, I don't vibe well with those sellers who are like, real straightforward. Don't want to kind of get into it. Or don't want to give me anything. Usually, like I deal with them is like I kind of mirror them, do the same thing. It's a little battle there. If he's gonna break or he's gonna hang up on me. And we just went through it, man. I just went through you kept giving me a bunch of objections, just kept going through it. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm gonna at least, try my best. I'm on stage, might as well go through it all. And I ended up coming down and we went through all of them, probably with like 5 or 6 objections. And it was fun, man. I love sales. I've done it since I was 18, and it's definitely a passion of mine. It was fun to be able to do that in front of everybody, and definitely it's the pressure's on when there's other people watching you.
It was funny because I think it was like my second dial answered. And then after that, everything else was pretty much BS. Like not, full retail. I just wanted to see, what you would offer, stuff like that. Naaman got one pretty quickly on the phone. And then, me and Naaman were kind of staying off the side, and we were feeling bad for you. We're like, dude, Kai has not gotten like one person to answer. Like, guy can't even show what he's got over here. He's just leaving voicemails. So I was glad you finally got someone to answer. I got to ask you, though, because I actually just recorded a video that's coming out on Sunday where I talked about this. I had the same thing happen to me during the final round of the 2023 Closers Olympics, where I was the last to go. I pretty much knew what I needed to do to win, and I couldn't get anybody to answer the phone. Was there anything internally like self-talk or anything like that you were doing to kind of keep yourself in the game and not get too worried about it? Because, dude, you do start noticing like, hey, there's a lot of eyeballs staring at me now. They watched RJ, they watched Naaman, now everyone's sitting here. Was there any of that kind of nerves or self-talk that you had to kind of do to keep yourself focused?
Honestly, I was just in the zone. I was there kind of especially when I'm in sales, I find it happens a lot. I just kind of get in the zone. I'm just like, if I only see the objective. I'm getting somebody on the phone. Someone's going to answer. And there was one point I kind of came out of the zone. I'm like, hey, Travis, you got any more leads? And he's like, no, this is all you got. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to call it a third time. And but yeah, really just trying to stay focused and, just keep going, man. That's all I could do.
Love
But
it.
I feel like that's something a lot of people don't think of. Like, they watch these and like, there's so many variables that could happen. Like nobody could answer. You could get all sellers that are unrealistic. Like you can be the best closer in the world, but if the leads you're talking to aren't answering, there's nothing you can really do, or it could just not be someone who's motivated.
Yep. And it's funny because there's a lot of times where I did the 50-day challenge. There's a day in New York where I was live for 8 hours, and I think I left 150 voicemails that day. I mean, I made a YouTube video about it where it was nothing but me just leaving voicemails over and over and over again. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Right.
If no one answers the phone, I mean, you can't go to their house and be like, answer your phone. You just got to power through and stick with it, be consistent, because you'll have other days where everything's hot. Everybody wants to sell, and, you just got to go roll through that. So real quick before we move on, I know I just jumped into that because, hey, something we did together. It's the first time we met, but you're a lot more than just a guy who gets up on stage and close some deals. So tell everybody what it is that you do in real estate and where you're based out of.
Yeah, so I'm a wholesaler, do virtual wholesaling. I'm out of San Antonio, Texas. Like I said, we do virtual, so we do it all over.
Nice. And how long you been doing it?
About 3 years.
Nice. And so when you say virtual wholesaler, so I say I'm a virtual wholesaler, but I say I'm a nationwide virtual wholesaler because we do things in all 50 states. So when you say virtual, is that just in Texas, just in San Antonio, or where are you doing deals at?
So I think we've done like 7 or 8 different states now. So yeah, we haven't done all 50 states yet. We have a map. My wife actually has, and we're drawing it. We're working on it. We saw you do the 50 states to motivate us to. We're thinking about doing it before that, but after it kind of put a fire under us. Like, oh, we gotta get all 50 of these fuckers. But
have you done Utah?
Nope.
All right, me either. So there you go. I have 49 checked off. Utah's the one I don't have yet. I don't understand why. I know that there's a lot of successful wholesalers out of Utah, but I can't get one there. So how did you get into wholesale? What drew you to it?
So I got into sales when I was 18. I grew up kind of rough. That had a lot of challenges and stuff as a kid, and got into sales and literally turned my life around. At 18, got into a call center. And yeah, man, so the first thing I was ever good at my whole life was sales. And so I just dove into it. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I'm getting recognition. I'm good at it. I'm making money. Wasn't a lot of money. I was getting minimum wage at my first call center job. And I'd make like a buck or two off each upsell. It was like real sketchy call center. Like think of a sketchy call center. That was it. And but yeah, but I was ecstatic. I'm like, this is great. It's the most money I've ever made legally. This is phenomenal. Before that, I only worked at Wendy's. And so yeah, I was gone to sales, did that, sold cars, did literally any kind of sales job you could think of. If it was on Craigslist, I probably did it. And yeah, so eventually started my own thing. The business partner did all the wrong things. So I've been an entrepreneur for almost a decade. Since I was 23, I'm 32 now. So yeah, did the entrepreneur thing, did all the wrong moves. Hired my buddy from high school. Well, I didn't hire him, but I felt like I did. I recruited him. He ended up becoming my business partner. And that was an awful move. Just would hire anyone that wanted to work for me. Really, all the things that I had to learn the hard way, like core values and hiring the right people and not just putting any butts in seats. Yeah. So yeah, I did all that. Did pretty well. That fell apart. But the whole time I always, I ended up exiting. But yeah, it was because I found out he was embezzling money. Well, lots of fun stories in between this 8-year time. But yeah, I always wanted to get into real estate. And as I listened to Bigger Pockets, I'd listen to any podcast I could. I would, read books, listen to a lot of Grant Cardone, and, listening to Grant and certain other people that'd be like, oh, you wait till you have $1 million, and a lot of things. Like I had a lot of like, misbeliefs or unconscious biases. Like, I thought going people get into real estate, you had to have like rich parents, you had to have like perfect credit, you had to know how to fix shit, and you had to, have a bunch of money in the bank and all this stuff that, I thought you had to have. And So I'm like, oh, one day I'll do it. One day. It was always the one day goal. For some reason, it's always in my head. It's a one day thing I want to get into. One day I'll be able to do it. And then I was reading a book. It's by Brandon Turner. I think it's how to get into real estate or something with no to low money down. And there's this tiny paragraph. It's like 2 sentences. And it's like there's this thing called, I don't remember exactly what it says, but it said something to the effect of there's this thing called real estate wholesaling where you can get it. It's great to get into real estate, and all you have to and it's just sales and marketing. I'm like, oh shit, well that's all I've done my whole life. I'm like, let's give this a try. So went down YouTube rabbit hole, bought a course, tried to come in with a white belt mentality. I'm like, I'm just going to do whatever these people are saying, and we're going to see if it works. And first 60 days, we're driving for dollars, doing but all the stuff and pounding the pavement, just really getting after it. At the same time, I still had I had a marketing agency for car dealers. We were doing systems at the time. Still doing that. Still had a few clients. We lost a bunch of them during COVID, but so that's why I had time to try it out. And but yeah, we did it. Took about 60 days, I think, like right before it was like 45 days. We got one under contract, made $1,000, and like I think it was like $1,200. I'm like, fuck, that was a lot of work for $1,200.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm down. I'm in the hole now because I got invested money in this thing now. But I'm like, we're just gonna have to keep going. And looking back, I don't think I would have been able to sell it in today's market just because the market was real hot then. And but yeah, next one we ended up getting one under contract. Like literally shortly after. I'm just stubborn. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going, dude. It's bullshit. At least I know it works now, though. Like I got one to the finish line. So I kept going, and then we made over 60 grand. I'm like, oh shit, this works. I never made that much money at one time off a deal in my life, and so let's do this. And we went all in.
60 grand. That's a big rip right there. That was a big one.
Yeah, we showed the open door. But
Gotcha.
yeah. I'm like, I wonder if this works. I just kind of figured that out myself too. I'm like, these people said they'll pay this much. Let's see if we can figure this out.
I had quite a few of those where it was like, hey, we just took it down and sold it to open door, and it was like, man, that's way easier than everything else that's involved. Things have changed a little bit with that strategy. Yeah. Open doors kind of tighten things up a little bit. Way different process too. But so you go all in on it. Do you have a team? Is it just you, your wife? What does it look like right now?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things I've struggled with is building my team, especially doing it virtually. I built teams in person at my other businesses, but having people virtually in Zoom, I've kind of always struggled with it because I kind of just I'm not a great manager. Yeah, I think I'm a good leader, but I'm not a great manager. I expect people like, hey, here's how you do it. Take the ball, run with it. When they don't, I'm like, I just get frustrated. And I'm like, okay, this isn't working out. Like, I already invested time and money and energy into you. So, so it's me and Bree. We have a couple of VAs that we've also cycled through, but we've had one that's been pretty consistent. But yeah, the biggest thing we do, I think different is we use lots of automations and AI. Because that's a lot of my background. I was working with the car dealers, was building CRMs and doing automations. So I try to automate everything because the automations, the AI, the robot's not going to tell me it doesn't want to work, or it's not going to not follow the script or not do the stuff I want to. So really, I just try to automate everything so I can focus on doing what I want to do and close deals or whatever's going to move the needle or working on the business instead of in it.
So let's break that down. What all are you automating, and how much of that is with the usage of AI?
So most of the AI does like a lot of heavy lifting for like writing stuff out and like copy for stuff on websites. We're doing a lot of SEO stuff now. But yeah, biggest thing we use it for is the chat bot. So we have a chat bot. A lot of people, they have the Go High Level one, and there's some other ones out there because they're popping up everywhere now. And they're okay, but they kind of sound robotic. Ours, it talks directly to OpenAI, so it does new ChatGPT 4, and it's pretty cool. People send me. We have a few clients and people that are using it too, and they send me responses, and it surprises me all the time. Like they got one, they had a lead Zolo lead, and they didn't know what the website form looked like, but they were asking questions about the ad, and the bot somehow answered it. And it's like, well, on step 3. You said there's no fees or this, and like, oh, and it like answered it. Forget what he said. I have it in my text.
That's crazy.
I'm like, oh, they started speaking Spanish to somebody else, and it's like it's not me. I'm not that smart. I just got it to talk to, ChatGPT, and it does all the heavy lifting. And I gave it the parameters and told it how to act and stuff. But
so how are you getting the sellers to interact with the chatbot? I mean, is it like, are you running paid ads to a site and then that's how you're initiating the conversations?
yeah, so it can be paid. So we're mostly Lead Zolo. So basically, we just built the API integration with Lead Zolo. So as soon as the lead comes in, it shoots over to our CRM, investor plug, and so it shoots over there, and then boom, you can pick how you want it to. We have different people doing it a different way, but we have it. So like the first thing that comes in, the bot's reaching out. We're calling at the same time. So I think trying to get a hold of them as fast as possible is key. But yeah, that's as soon as they come in, we're doing the bot.
With it being an inbound lead like that, what is the purpose behind the chat? Is it just in case they don't answer the phone?
Yeah, or if it comes in at a weird time, like sometimes I don't know if it's just me, it's this weird occurrence, but every time I leave the house or I do anything, a lead comes in. Like I have to go run to the store or something. I'm like, fuck, I either turn around or I went too far and I miss it or try to call them in the car. So the bot's whole purpose is to qualify them. So it asks similar questions that Lead Zolo asks. What's the condition of the property? What kind of price are you looking for? What's your timeline? And then so it asks those 3 qualifying questions, which we can customize and change. And those are the 3 that I'm using. And then its job is to set an appointment. So like with the closer, so it'll set an appointment, pre-qualify them, set an appointment, and then it just puts it directly into the calendar.
Nice. So you show up in the morning and it's like, hey, I've got booked out appointments with inbound leads that we have already pre-qualified. We already know all these answers. So you're just able to come in and just close the ones that are really good. And what about the ones that are like, because we do a lot with Lead Zolo as well. What about the ones that are like, I could sell whenever I want full retail and the condition is pristine? What do you do? Are you still calling those?
Yeah, so we still call them in between too. Like if they stop responding somewhere, it'll follow up the next day and you can customize it. But we have it doing like 24 hours, respond again if they drop off. But at the same time, I'm still following up and reaching out to them. I think frequency and getting as many touches as you can is huge. But yeah, those ones, if they answer all the questions, I think they're still pretty qualified. I want to talk to them, and I want to talk to everybody I can. I paid for the lead, but yeah, I feel like those people, a lot of times people will be guarded and they're like, don't want to give everything away, or they just don't want you to know. And they're like, they just don't want you. Like a lot of times someone lists a car to sale on Craigslist or something, they're asking way more than they actually want. So I try to just keep that in mind. And I'm just like, if they're answering the questions, I know there's some motivation there if they're not telling me what it is.
Do you have automations built out for long-term follow-up?
We do, yeah. So we have different ones. So like if it's they say not right now, follow up, or they answer and they will put it out, or they say hey, like they go ghost, like declare red ghost. Like if I'm talking to them, there's something, and I just can't get a hold of them, or the lead comes in, we just never get a hold of them. We'll follow up for about like a week or 2, and then we'll just shoot it out and to another automation. So it'll follow up like then once a month and just kind of do it. Just because I think it's motivation and timing are the 2 biggest things. So, and the best way to try to get that nailed down is to follow up as frequently and as consistently long term as you can. And automations help that, so you can focus on the hottest stuff yourself.
So are you wholesaling everything, or are you taking any down? Are you doing any flips, novations, stuff like that?
So last year, or it was the year before, yeah. So we've done about a handful of flips, then like 5 or 6 flips. And once the market shifted, we lost some money on a flip. I mean, overall the flips were way up, but they kind of got a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm like, man, this took all this time. If I wholesaled, it would have been good. And I just hired the wrong contractors, made all the wrong mistakes, and it was cool. I learned. But it was an expensive lesson. I'm like, man, I could have just wholesaled that. I would have been in and out. I would have made a little bit less, but I probably would have got another deal in that meantime too, instead of having to go manage contractors and all this. So right now it's all wholesaling. I'm sure at some point I'll probably get back into doing some flips. Glutton for punishment. So yeah, I'll probably go back into it at some point. But yeah, right now it's just all wholesaling.
So one of the things that I'm saying, because you say you do a lot of Lead Zolo, is people saying, hey, on my Lead Zolo leads, I'm getting rural locations and, I get mobile homes and I get all these, a lead with no comps and stuff like that. And I saw this inside of our community the other day. Someone that's not a student or anything like that said, well, on those, you should just be doing novations. And I'm like, no, that's not the case. You know, that's like an answer from someone that I don't think is actually like doing volume inside this business, because then you're just going to get bogged down with a whole separate type of business, which is doing novation. So what are you doing about those leads that come in rural locations, no comps, you know, acreage, stuff like that? Are you passing on those, or are you still finding ways to dispo?
Yeah, we've been struggling with some of those too. We did the nationwide campaign on the Black Friday thing. Yeah, let's be transparent. Yeah, we struggled dispelling some of them. We were looking at innovation. Some other people recommended that too, which I haven't done innovation yet. So, but yeah, I've been just kind of figuring out the process. We're probably gonna try to do a few here pretty shortly, but yeah, no, we've been struggling on dispelling a couple of them that are like real small towns, middle nowhere, no buyers. The issues I call that, like I've like really just pound the pavement on dispo, and like some of these small places, they don't even know what wholesaling is.
Yep.
Like, why would you sell the property? You just got it. Like, I'm like, oh, I didn't even close on it. So I have to like try to educate them, and they think it's a scam, and it's so it's definitely yeah, that definitely takes a more tactical approach, it seems like.
One of the first deals that we ever did in New Hampshire, we ran into that. No one in that state knew what wholesaling was. And
I used to live there.
It's the same thing, bro. I mean, they were just like, what is this a scam? Like, I don't understand. And it was so funny because they didn't understand so much so, but they wanted to buy the deal. We literally just said, all right, how about this? We're going to terminate the contract. You can contract directly to the seller and just write me a check. Just write me a check. This is how much I'm trying to make. And they were like, oh, yeah, that sounds way better. And so they literally just wrote us a check and like hand wrote it and sent it in the mail. And it wasn't that big. I was like, dude, can you just like Venmo or like sell the money? You really got to handwrite the check out? Like, man, old school up there in New Hampshire. This is crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Cool. They actually paid you too. I feel like some people would be like,
yeah. Yeah. I was like, at this point, it's like, dude, they screw us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to be able to move the deal. They're like the only buyer. They're like the only real estate investor in a small little, village in New Hampshire. So
yeah,
it is what it is. On the dispo side, are you using anything like investor lift, or what's the strategy there for dispo?
Yeah, we do investor lift. And then we also we'll do the God mode, and we'll pull who the top buyers are, the score, and then we'll manually call them and reach out to them. Go to Facebook groups, they'll do searches and pull everything. And then I just try to think kind of like the opposite acquisition. As soon as that deal comes in, we're pushing as hard as we can, as many channels as we can to get in front of people and try to make sure they're real buyers, so they're not wasting our time, and then try to get as many eyes on the deal as we can.
I tell everybody that, hey, with the new lead generation strategies that we have available to us, like Lead Zolo and Speed to Lead and stuff like this that's come out in the past couple of years, that if you're a virtual wholesaler, acquisitions is easy.
Right.
I mean, you should be able to acquire a deal a day pretty simply, just if you have the capital to buy the leads. The vast majority of your time needs to be spent on dispo. Because you are going to get deals in like a location that you're not familiar with. But even with a tool like Investor Lift, I mean, it takes a lot of work to go locate the buyers and vet them out, get them in for showings and stuff like that. That's where your time's going to end up being spent. Do you kind of agree with that?
100%. Yeah, I feel like, especially when I first started and the market was different, acquisitions felt like it was a little harder. But I still was doing mostly just here in San Antonio then. So I don't have a good gauge. But yeah, it definitely seemed like acquisitions was harder. It's definitely easier. If you're getting paid leads, I mean, they're motivated. They want to talk to you. They literally want to sell. They filled out a form. They jump through all these hoops to talk to you. I mean, it's they want to do something. And then, but yeah, dispo is, especially if you're not familiar with the market, that's where it seems it's like the harder job now for sure. It's
dude, I just I posted a reel yesterday from my 50-day challenge in 2020. And it was, I sent a guy one text message and he calls and leaves me a voicemail and he's like, stop calling me. If I was in front of you, I'd break your goddamn jaw. And it was like, dude, that doesn't happen in 2024 anymore because we're not doing any of that crazy stuff like we used to have to do.
Yeah.
Which was constantly direct mail, SMS, cold calling. I'm not saying some of those things, well, SMS is dead, but cold calling, direct mail, they still work. But really the SMS is where the most people got angry.
Yeah.
They wanted to like come fight you.
It's understandably too. I'd get a bunch of bad. We did a lot of cold texting before they cracked down. We had to kind of lay off on the volume for sure. I get some crazy messages all the time. And, one dude looked at my address and he's like, he found me, he skip traced me. He's like, oh, I know where you fucking live, bro. Oh my god. I'm like, well, luckily I got a bunch of big dogs we rescued and a bunch of guys. Come on through, bud. I didn't say that, but I'm like, you get why they're pissed off. I get like, I feel like you have to get like where they're coming from. Like
I literally told the guy, I called him back. I left him. He didn't answer. I left him a voicemail, and I said, I don't know if you know this. I'm a pretty big guy. I got a big beard, so like, you got to find the jaw inside of the beard, bro.
Keep moving,
right? The good times. So you've got the Wholesaling Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about what that is. I know you had the podcast, but you also have your community that you're building out. So what is the Wholesaling Syndicate?
Yeah, so the Wholesaling Syndicate, we got the mastermind, we do events, we do the podcast, and really I built it just to like have all the information. My goal is to have all the information in one place for new people and just build a collaboration of people, like a network, a mastermind to help each other win. Because for me, it's not the me show. I know I don't know everything. I always try to approach everything with white belt mentality. I'm always trying to learn. And even though I've done sales for a long time, very confident in my sales skills. I'll hear somebody say something and I'll try it out. And like, maybe this works better than what I'm doing. So, and that amplifies when you have a bunch of other people all willing to learn and grow and try to be the best version of themselves, doing the same thing. So they can like, hey, I tried this out, it works. They take it back to the group. Yeah, I tried this lead source out. I tried this tactic out, whatever. And then they report back, it just saves everybody that much more time and you can just get to your goals that much quicker trying to do everything yourself. But yeah, that's really the whole idea behind it. Trying to be an information resource. One of my core values is, being a go-giver. And, I started really the intention for mastermind and stuff. Just wanted to kind of share my journey in wholesaling and what I was doing. And it's kind of just evolved organically from there.
So I know you had your event on February 22nd. Sounds like you have those events fairly often, right?
So we do. That was our big one for the year. So we do every February. I guess this was the second one. But the format so far has been we've done our first big one last February in 2023, and then this year we did that. And then we do like quarterly. We'll have like smaller ones. That usually be like 3-4 hour deal, and usually be just one or two other speakers. And then the one we just did, I think we had like 15 speakers. That was like a whole all day thing and after hours thing after VIP party and stuff. And then a VIP day the day after. So I guess it was a 2-day thing. But yeah. And then we just do the 1-day ones here in San Antonio. It's like low cost entry just to make sure people actually show up, they grab tickets. And just try to provide a bunch of value for the wholesaling community in San Antonio.
I love it, man. I know that you gave out awards at the event, which I love that recognition for the people inside of your community. I believe our boy Jamie LeBlanc won an award.
You did, yeah.
What did he win for?
So I completely surprised them too. They had no idea, so they were all nervous. So I put them on stage, and they did speak. They shared, they shared a lot of great information. They did real well on the panel. So we did a syndicate panel. And I jumped up and surprised them because they were worried about the audience Q&A. So I jumped up, surprised them with some awards. But yeah, Jamie, we gave him, I believe we gave him the Integrity Award, and just doing what he says he's going to do, no matter what life throws at him. Man, he's just one of my favorite people. He just always shows up. He's just a good person. He really, cares about everybody else in the community, and really just in wholesaling community in general. He just wants to help other people, and he's literally one of the first people I met when I started wholesaling, and I'm real grateful I did. And I always think, listen to how people talk about people behind their back. And then I've heard nothing but great things about you behind your back, man. Jamie's one of the loudest people like saying great things about you. I mean, as soon as I started, he's this RJ guy. He's the man. He's like one of the best people. He just truly cares about people. And so, man, I'm happy we finally got to connect because he's been singing your praises for a long time.
Dude, Jamie's my brother, man. And like you said, just one of the most genuine human beings out there. I love him to death. And then he introduced me to Caleb at Travis's event.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleb bought tickets to come to our event here in Fort Worth, the Closers Formula. for his son Cannon's 21st birthday present. And Cannon comes, and this dude sits down. He was his 21st birthday, and he's just pounding the phones. I mean, he's crushing it.
Yeah, he's a killer.
And my team is a bunch of 21-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next thing I know, I see my whole team and Cannon like standing in the corner, and they're like hanging out like they're best friends. And then we go to lunch, and they all sit together, and they're hanging out like they're best friends. And then we go to the event that night, and they're still hanging out. And I'm like, I walked up to Caleb, and I was like, hey, I know Cannon is like living in Phoenix, but if I offered him a job, do you think he would move here? And he's like, yeah, bro, he would do it. And so I wrapped up the event by offering Cannon a job to join the team, and he accepted it right there on the spot. And like 3 weeks later, he had his stuff packed up, drove overnight, and he's been here ever since. I know he was at the event, him and Caleb. So it's funny, man. The wholesaling industry is such a small circle. Talking about me and you just met, but then think about it. We've both known Jamie for a while. Now Caleb, now Cannon's working for me. Travis is awesome, dude. How did you meet Travis, by the way?
So we're in a mastermind Apex. Okay. Yeah, so we met through Apex a while back, and it's funny how we actually. He like cold pitched me, cold DM me when he first joined. I'm like, oh, it's like not what we do in Apex, and yeah, it's funny. He's like, oh, and he's like, yeah, like build a machine, and he's killed it. Yeah, so he's done all the training, and like real fast. He's fucking blown up, and yeah, he's doing a lot of cool stuff. And we work together on some stuff. We do a lot of his back end stuff with the CRM and automations and stuff. And
love it.
Well, it's mostly Breach. He does all the integrating stuff and making it happen.
So, man, you're 3 years in. You got the Wholesale Syndicate. Seems like, virtual wholesaling. You've done like 7 or 8 different states. I mean, where do you want to go from this? Like, where do you want to be in the future, and what's like your objective with this?
Yeah, really just keep growing. I mean, I know I need to get better. Maybe find someone else to help me build a team. I do want to be at an in-person office and actually build a team. And I miss having that, especially working from home. Man, you're not working lonely, especially if you don't have an office or people. And it's one of the reasons I love having the syndicate, and I look forward to those calls. And I have people to talk to about wholesaling. Yeah, they actually want to talk about it. And if everybody knows working at W2 or they're working, just regular jobs, and it's kind of hard to talk to them. You can't go to them like, hey, I had a hard day, and they're like, fuck you, dude. Like that. But there's so it's tough, man. But that's why it's important to have community. But yeah, really just growing the office, keep growing Investor Plug. I haven't even really formally announced it because we've had the CRM for a while, but we've been rebranding it and had a bunch of cool stuff like the AI. Working on growing that, and just working on growing the syndicate and getting information out there and just helping other people win.
Love it, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on here today, talking about your journey. And I just love how like transparent you are about where you are on your path. Sometimes I bring people on here and, they want to act like they know everything. And it's like, dude, you're 3 years in on this. I'm going to be honest with you. I remember being 3 years in on this. Like, you still got a lot to learn. Like, there's just a lot of like real life experience. I mean, I'm approaching a decade in on this, and there's still things that are happening that I'm like, holy shit, like this has never happened to us before. Like, how do we deal with this? And I go ask people that have been doing this for 20 years. It's like, so you always are learning and growing. If not, then you're just stagnant. So I love your mindset and your transparency around where you are in your journey, man. And like I said, I saw you on stage. You were a killer on the phone. I think you had the best close out of any of us.
I appreciate
that event, man. And I just appreciate you for putting yourself out there for the better of other people. I think you do a lot of things. It sounds to me like not for your own glory, but also just to help out other people, which is awesome, man. So I appreciate you for everything that you do inside of this industry.
Man, I appreciate you. And man, having people like you to keep up with, man. I know. I try to identify people with core values until we tell you're a go-giver. And I love how long you've been doing it. And I was looking back at your YouTube and just like how long you've been consistent and like doing the work, man. It's super motivating, man. So I appreciate you and everything you do, man.
Appreciate it, man. All right, guys, let us know what you think about this podcast. Leave us a comment. Make sure you like the video. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. If you didn't like what we said today, that's okay. Here's what you do. You go to Steve Train's podcast, and leave him a 3-star review and say RJ sent me. Otherwise, just leave us a 5-star review, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you.